Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Sports Stars on Diesel. Today, obviously, we are going to be talking about Week 12 of the NFL season as finally the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game is over. We'll get to that game in just a moment here. But I'm going to be shortening up a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the games that happened this past week because of the NFL playoff picture that is mounting upon us. And I will go over who's winning the conferences, divisions, etc. Let's get down to business here. First games up were the Thanksgiving games. Texans, Lions. Texans win 41-25. And Deshaun Watson obviously continues to have a season that will be completely forgotten about as the Texans are 4-7 in this so far this season. And 17-25, over 300 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in this ball game. Will Fuller is another story to talk about because he has been suspended 6 games for the performance-enhancing drug policy, violating it again. 6 catches, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Will Fuller's had a fantastic season. I think he's had 8 touchdown receptions this year, which is top 5 in the league. And unfortunately, I don't know what else to talk about here on this topic because if Houston's going to make a playoff push, they need Will Fuller as much as they need Brandon Cooks and the rest of this offense. And most importantly, Deshaun Watson. They're not going to get anywhere close to the playoffs this year if they don't have Deshaun Watson. But let me talk about Deshaun Watson and why he should be an MVP candidate. He has passed for over 3,200 yards this year. That's 4th most in the NFL. 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. 24 touchdowns is tied for 5th in the league. Completion percentage, he's completing over 68.9% of his passes. That's with a minimum of 100 pass attempts. So he's 6th in the league in completion percentage. He's 1st in the league in yards per attempt, minimum 100%. Minimum of 100 pass attempts, 8.8 yards per pass attempt, and he's 3rd in the league in QBR rating. He's also top 8 in the league in quarterback. There's 2 types of quarterback rating. There's the quarterback rating that is the perfect score, 158, and then there's the QBR rating that is a perfect hundo. He's 3rd in the league in quarterback rating with 112.5. He's top 8 in the league in QBR. All right, there's a complete difference between those 2 ratings there. With that being said, this guy needs to be an MVP candidate. I don't know what else this guy's got to do. And he's also, I didn't even put his rushing stats in there. And he beat you with his arm. He beat you with his legs. And, you saw it in the game against New England, a game New England desperately needed to win. And Deshaun Watson goes off. He throws for 2 touchdowns. He rushes for 1. This guy is having a season that we're all going to forget because the Houston Texans absolutely stink and they are not the best football team. With that being said, the next game on the list, Washington football team against the Dallas Cowboys, 41-60. This was a complete blowout. There's no need to talk about this game other than Gibson having 20 carries, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He continues to be the hot story for this football team as they are tied at the top of the division with the New York Giants. And I will get into that later. Up next, Panthers, Vikings, a game the Panthers obviously, the Panthers threw this game away, honestly. The Vikings come down. Kirk Cousins throws phenomenally in the last 5-6 minutes of the ball game. I think he completed 11 of his last 12 passes to finish the game. Obviously, we know about the touchdown pass to BB. That ends up being the ultimate game winner plus the extra point. Kirk Cousins, 34 of 45, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he threw 4 different wide receivers on the Minnesota Vikings, had at least 7 receptions and 60 or more yards. That is ridiculous. But, when you don't have Stephon Diggs, we all know he's in Buffalo now. And Adam Thielen was out this game too. Someone else has got to step up. And Kyle Rudolph, not Mason Rudolph, the backup quarterback for Pittsburgh. Kyle Rudolph, the tight end for the Vikings. And did a phenomenal job. Justin Jefferson, we can't forget about him. He's been phenomenal this year as well. And the Vikings are slowly creeping up the list here, and they are right outside that playoff picture, which I will get to in a second. In a couple minutes here, I should say. Titans, Colts, 45-26 to score here. There was nothing near close in this ball game. Too much Derrick Henry. Again, 27 carries, 178 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is the third game in Derrick Henry's career that he's had such like numbers. At least 175 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. There are 2 other players in NFL history that have more. LaDainian Tomlinson, who had 4, and the great Jim Brown, who had 5. So in Derrick Henry, we know that the running backs in the NFL are, in a sense, they're underrated because they don't have they don't have a long period of time. They don't have a longevity at that position because they're always running in the trenches. They're getting chopped at their legs all the time. We'll see about Derrick Henry. I think he's a different animal. 6'4", 245 pounds. I mean, that boy is solid. I mean, hopefully these guys stay, 100% injury free, which is never a guarantee in football. With that being said, 49ers, Rams, big win for the 49ers here as it keeps them within contention of that division in the NFC West. 23-20 to score here. Mullins, Mullins threw the ball particularly well, 24 of 35. I know he didn't have any touchdowns. He threw an interception. But Deebo Samuel, coming off of that injury, 11 catches, 133 yards, a fantastic game for this. I don't know how Shanahan's doing this right now. Chiefs, Bucs, one of the biggest games of the year. And here's something to talk about. The winner of the Mahomes-Brady rivalry that's happened the last 4 years, the winner of that game goes on to win the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind because obviously Mahomes and company went off in the first quarter. I mean, Brady and the Bucs kind of made the game late, and they brought it to within a 3-point lead. Unfortunately, the Chiefs win 27-24 here. Patrick Mahomes, 37 of 49, 462 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, over 200 receiving yards in the first half. This guy should have clearly have had the record of, I think it was like 330-something receiving yards in a game. 13 receptions, 269 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's the first player in 30 years with at least 7 receptions and 200 or more receiving yards in the first quarter or in a quarter. Brady, I'm not, as bad as Tampa Bay's been playing lately, Brady actually had a decent game. 27 of 41, 345, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I understand the 2. Tom Brady is second in the league in interceptions behind the great Carson Wentz with 15. Gronk, looking like his old self again, 6 receptions, 106 yards. Obviously, Godwin had his catches. Mike Evans had his catches. Mike Evans, I think it was like 4 catches, 40 yards, 2 touchdowns. With that being said, I love how, it takes too much to stop Kansas City. You gotta get to Patrick Mahomes, and it seems when Patrick Mahomes is under pressure, he runs out the pocket and side slings at 40 yards to Tyreek Hill or Kelsey or, oh wait, Sammy Watkins came back. Oh wait, there's Demarcus Robinson. Oh wait, Le'Veon Bell. Oh wait, they have so many weapons on this team, and it's gonna take a complete team effort to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Whether offensively or defensively, it's going to take a complete team effort. And the last game I'm going to be talking about, second to last game I'm going to be talking about, Cardinals, Patriots. A game the Cardinals should have completely won, and they blew this game. And the Patriots, I don't know what else I don't know how much uglier a game could be. Cam Newton, 9 of 18 passes and 85 yards, 2 interceptions. And somehow, some way, they win this football game. But the way they won this football game is a little bit different. The special teams came through finally for this New England Patriots team. Whether it was Dante Moncrief on the kickoff return, there was a great punt return that, unfortunately, it should have been a touchdown. But it wasn't, thanks to an iffy call by the refs. It was such a tough play. It could have been called either way, but the Patriots prevail. And obviously, thank you to the kicker for the Cardinals there, Gonzalez, who misses a 48-yard field goal to go up by 3 with under 2 minutes to play. So the Patriots can thank him as well. This is a game the Cardinals should have completely have won, and you give credit to the Patriots defense and the Patriots special teams for keeping the defense, especially keeping Kyler Murray under wraps, and the special teams for making big plays, giving Cam Newton a short field. And that's something the Patriots haven't had all season, getting a short field to work with so they can be automatically at field goal range and get guaranteed points. Last game, Pittsburgh-Baltimore. Not much to talk about in this ball game here. Pittsburgh wins 19-14 here. And, Baltimore made this a game. The clock management at the end of the half killed Baltimore in the game, in this sense. You give Pittsburgh credit for laying on the defense. But let's be real here, people. Like, I hate when that happens. And obviously, when your team's down and you see players doing that, there should be a flag on a delay of game flag on that every single time. They shouldn't be allowed to lay on players like that. I don't think that's fair. You're not giving the other team a fair chance because it doesn't take that long for you to get up off of somebody. But these guys are laying down, support me kind of thing, putting all their body weight on people so guys can't get up. And that costed Baltimore a potential touchdown or field goal at the end of the half here because they're on the 1-2 yard line with 26 seconds left. They run a play. They don't get the touchdown. Guys are hanging all over the running back with the football. By the time they snap the ball again, there's 4 seconds left. Even though I will say this, Robert Griffin III threw a great ball. The tight end just didn't catch it. And I think that was a huge break for this Pittsburgh Steelers team because, honestly, another game where Baltimore could have won this game, and they didn't even have some of their best players in this ball game. That being said, let's get to the playoff picture. We're going to start off with the AFC here. As much as I want to go over each division, we're going to go by the conference here. Obviously, we know Pittsburgh and KC are 1-2. Pittsburgh's 11-0 now. By the way, with Pittsburgh, they are, I think, the third team in NFL history to start a season with an 11-0 record. Now, there's been 9 teams that have started the NFL season with a 10-0 record, but only one team out of those 8 teams has won the Super Bowl. Can you think about who that team was? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think about it. It was the Drew Brees in the 2009 New Orleans Saints against the Indianapolis Colts in Super Bowl 40. So think about it, so Pittsburgh's obviously at the top. Kansas City, I don't think they're going nowhere. They're getting a little help from Pittsburgh and losing a couple of these last 4 or 5 ball games. So Kansas City can take the 1 seed. 3, 4, and 5 are all tied at 8-3. We got Tennessee, Buffalo, Cleveland. 6 and 7 are tied. Miami and Indianapolis. By the way, there are 7 teams in each conference this year. 7 playoff teams in each conference this year. So technically, Miami and Indianapolis are in the playoffs at 7 and 4. Look on the outside looking in. I just did the top 3 teams on the outside looking in. Las Vegas and Baltimore at 6 and 5, and then New England at 5 and 6. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about in this conference. I'm not going to get into crazy detail here. Obviously, let's go to the NFC conference. Same thing. New Orleans is at the 1 seed at 9 and 2. Green Bay, Seattle tied at 8 and 3 at the 2 and 3 seed. New York Giants at 4 and 7 would be the 4 seed because the winner of each division gets one of the top 4 seeds depending on record. The Los Angeles Rams 7 and 4. Tampa Bay 7 and 5, Arizona 6 and 5, and those are the top 7 teams that would be in the playoffs. If the playoffs started right now, Minnesota, Chicago, and San Francisco are all on the outside looking in at 5 and 6. Now, Tampa Bay is getting off lucky here because their last 4, they are 2 and 4 against teams that are above 500. They are 5 and 1 against teams that are below 500. Their last 4 games of the season are against teams that are all below 500. So they should win the last 4 games and they could be contended with one of the top two, the at least, well, they can't really contend. They would be contending with the fifth seed right now, unless New Orleans has a complete drop-off. And with Taysom Hill at the quarterback, I don't see them dropping off right now until Drew Brees comes back. I don't see it. This team's too talented offensively and defensively for them to just give up not only a 1 seed, but give up a bye week to the Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is not going to get away with it. I think Tampa Bay will make the playoffs, but they're going to be in that wild card round. And we'll see how this plays out. But thank you guys so much again for your time. I know some of these videos are getting long and I'm just talking away. I'm trying to shorten them up as best as I possibly can here. Obviously, I can shorten them up more, but then at the same time, though, you guys are going to be like, why? You missed this, you missed that. So I'm doing everything I possibly can here. Stay tuned. Obviously, I was going to do an NBA free agent, like what was going on in the NBA offseason here with all the free agent movings, people getting signed. No sooner I was getting ready to do that video, like 2 or 3 more players signed max contracts, 2 or 3 more players got moved. So I got to go through those particular details. Stay tuned for that episode. Obviously, week 13 coming up very, very shortly here. Once again, thank you guys so much for your time. If you haven't left a like or subscribe or comment, please do one of those 3 things. It would be much appreciated. Thanks again. This is Sports Runs on Diesel. I will see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.